So we move on to the next speaker, Dr. Bijoya Baruah. I hope her presentation is up on the screen. So Dr. Baruah is presently Professor, Department of Assamese, Mahapurush Srimanta Shankardeva University of Nagaon. Dr. Baruah was awarded the prestigious highest degree, D.Lit, for her thesis entitled A Comparison on the Oral Ramayani Tradition with the Oral Tradition of Ramayana in the Neighboring States of Bengal and Orissa. So you have gone really deep into this topic. Attending different international and national academic conferences held in London, Malaysia, Indonesia, she has drawn attention of the academics of different countries through her thought-provoking research papers on Assamese culture with special reference to the northeast of India. As a sincere, devoted researcher, she has significantly contributed to the Society of Knowledge. And of course, I know that in Muniji's Gurukula, they are teaching Ramayana right from a young age to the older ages also. Ramayana is taught in every grade. So there's no moral science or anything like that. Ramayana has everything in it. So, Dr. Bijoya.
Namaskaram. Standing on the place of Mahakala, I memorize Jai Mahakala. My French scholars, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. The title of my paper is The Importance of Folklore, a unique ecosystem as traditional pedagogy of the system of the society. Education is the most vital factor for the upliftment of human beings as well as the society also. It transforms and harmonious development of our physical, mental, intellectual, spiritual powers and faculties in a successful manner. Education serves as the cornerstone for the only intellectual evolution, not only intellectual evolution of individual, but also the collective betterment of the society. In essence of education is not merely a process, it are transformative experiences that holistically enriches our psychological, cognitive, intellectual, and spiritual faculties in a synergistic manner. Within the context of folklore emerges as an indispensable pedagogical tool, one that offers more than just quaint stories or cultural myth. While the term folklore has often been narrowly constructed as a compendium of oral tradition, its scope is indeed much broader. It encompasses the totality of a culture, its tradition, values, language, literature, arts, music, culinary practices, and behavioral norms. Folklore serves as a mirror reflecting the societal ethos. It delineates the geography we inhabit, the value we hold dear, and ultimately defines our collective identity. Building upon the works of folklorist William Bascom in 1965, folklore can serve for four pivotal societal functions. This is number one, providing amusement and entertainment, validating cultural mores, imparting education to both individual and communication, and fourth, reinforcing the social conformity. The primary focus of this paper is to explore the multifaceted dimensions of folklore, with particular emphasis on its historical role as a potent instrument for the experimental learning. Folklore, a cultural phenomena that has evolved, have been meticulously preserved since the pre-Vedic era, possesses the intrinsic capacity and the captivate its audience. The engagement not only adds a layer of entertainment, but also fortifies the deep-rooted tradition of storytelling, thereby making a compelling subject for scholarly investigation in various interdisciplinary fields. Specifically, the paper will develop into how Indian folklore, rich in its diversity, argument existing in educational paradigm, and curricula.
Keep checking if the slide is correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it the same slide?
Yeah. In light of the innovative pedagogical approaches of methodologies encouraged in this paper to articulate how folklore can serve as a catalyst of experimental learning environment. It posed to that folklore as a communicative cultural artifact passed down through successive generations holds untapped potential and to be repurposed for educational framework that focus on the biodiversity, environmental stewardship, and social well-being. The paper will examine the potentialities of folklore as a unique educational resource that can cultivate essential life skills and of students. These skills include, but are not limited to, environmental consciousness, creative and critical thinking abilities, as well as problem-solving capacities. To achieve this combination of descriptive and analytical methods and field-based observation will be employed, offering a multidimensional lens through which the contribution of folklore to modern education can be assessed. Folklore, a phenomenon perhaps as ancient as humanity itself. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the last is second point. Folklore as a pedagogical instrument, bridging in traditional wisdom and modern traditional practices. Now I'm going to this point. Before it, there is a 1 point, different genres of folklore. It is also important. There are too much different genres in folklore, which included in the modern study of folklore. Then I go to the next, folklore as pedagogical instrument, bringing in traditional wisdom and modern educational practices. The primary aim of our discourse is to investigate how regional folklore can enrich society by inspiring ecosystem, learning traditional pedagogy. Historical analysis shows that such pedagogical methods were not isolated, and it was complementary to 5 others pedagogical approach. This pedagogical approach, the constructive approach, rooted in the theory that learning is an interpretive, recursive building process by active learners integrating with the physical and social world. Constructivism highlights the invisible pedagogy that is inherent in folklore. The collaborative approach, collective wisdom in learning. The collaborative approach serves as a live skin for the enhanced educational experiences, advocating for collecting learning as a pathway to deeper comprehension, rooted in the belief the symbolic relationship among learners and the democratic categorizes the classroom, but also mirrors the communal nature of folklore. Folk stories and traditions are often passed down collectively through community gatherings, shared rituals, or collective storytelling. Thus, a collaborative approach is not only pedagogical sound, but also culturally affirmative, echoing the communal learning found in traditional settings. Reflective approach places a premium on introspective activities like self-evaluation and self-reflection. It encourages learners to engage in a sort of meta-learning where they consider not just what they are learning, but how they are learning. Much like how folklore affords moral or philosophical lessons that require interpretation and personal inflection, the reflective approach demands a level of self-awareness that makes learning more targeted and effective. It helps learners internalize the information, equipping them to apply their new formal knowledge contextually in both academic and real-world scenarios. Integrative approach means building networks of knowledge. This integrative approach aims to transcribe the compartmentalization of knowledge, promoting a holistic learning environment. Learners are encouraged to identify and explore in connections between disparate pieces of information, effectively synthesizing a cohesive understanding of the subject matter. Folklore, too, inherently interrogative, often weaving together history, morality, culture, and social norms into a single narrative or nation. This approach, therefore, exceptionally well suited for the interdisciplinary courses that aim to provide a multifaceted understanding of complex issues, much like what I encountered in folkloristics and heritage studies. Next, equip-based approach learning through exploration. Finally, the inquiry-based approach is distinct in its emphasis on active exploration and investigation. Learners are not just passive recipients of information, they are investigators probing the boundaries of their understanding by asking questions and seeking answers. The parallel many aspects of folklore where the stories and tradition often pose rhetorical question and moral dilemma, they prompt deep thought and invite active investigation. By employing a combination of these 5 pedagogical approaches, each with its unique strength, the educational curricula can achieve a multidimensional, enriching learning environment. The robust framework not only align well with modern educational goals set forth by policies like the National Education Policy. Drawing upon the multi-dimensional framework of collaborative, reflective, integrative, and inquiry-based pedagogical approaches, this paper aims to investigate the untapped pedagogical potentialities embedded with folklore. We argue that folklore serves as a robust educational resources capable of enriching the both intellectual and moral dimension of learning across culture and generation. The folklore, the educational potentialities of folklore, I have few points. I mention only points. Cognitive and linguistic and enrichment. Cognitive and linguistic enrichment, number 1. Number 2, humanistic and moral development. Number 3, practical application of diverse learning environments. And number 4, the educational significance of local folk heritage. Though all folklore genres have educational merits, the most impactful are those drawn from the local heritage. These stories, traditions, and customs hold immediate relevances to students as they often echo the societal and cultural menace they encounter in their daily lives. By using folklore from local sources, educators can tap into a reservation of resources that are directly pertinent to the individual and social identity of the students. This aligns with modern educational policies 2020, which emphasize holistic, culturally relevant educational experiences. The comparative analysis of fairy tales, myths, sagas illustrated in each genre brings its unique pedagogical benefits to the educational landscape. While they all enrich cognitive and socio-cultural development, local folk heritage holds a special place in shaping the curriculum. It leads it effortlessly to the reflective, collaborative, integrative, and inquiry-based pedagogical models, creating multifaceted educational environment that is closely used to the community's heritage. Challenges or benefits of utilizing folklore in character education. There are, in modern periods, it is sensed, there are some challenges. While the inclusion of folklore in educational setting in indisputable merits, it is essential to also discuss the challenges that may be arise when integrated such culturally rich material into curricula. This section aims to elucidate both the benefits of the potential obstacles associated with the use of folklore in character education. Benefits of folklore in character education in related to cultural connection, universal values, age appropriateness. The challenge, it is an important challenges also. Challenges in implanting folklore-based character education, age appropriateness. One case challenges in utilizing folklore for character education in ensuring that the selected stories and materials are age-appropriate narratives that may acceptable the educational for older students, and educational for the older students might be overwhelming or incomprehensible for younger learners. Education must meticulously curate folklore resources, aligning them with the cognitive and emotional development levels of their students. Cultural sensitivity. Another cultural consideration is cultural sensitivity. As folklore often embodies the norms, beliefs, and values of specific culture, there is a risk of inadvertently perpetuating stereotype and misconception if the stories are not handled with care. Therefore, educators must engage in a rigorous evaluation process to ensure that the selected folklore materials are respectful to diverse cultural background or not. The socio-cultural impact on folklore events. The collective power of folklore manifests most vividly in communal activities like fasts and festivals and public musical performance. These are
You have five minutes more.
I go to the last concluding remarks also. Time is very short, I know. My conclusion in this regard, through different lens, I try to see and examine what the potentialities inherent in folklore genres. Therefore, last, I think it is my remarks also. The ancient Gurukul of Indian educational system has holistic approach of learning, teaching was an adopted and effective means of learning through experiences. The British colonialism system tidedly and strategically exercised the Western system of education devised to make people subservient and textbook-based syllabus and teacher-oriental, where teacher was the master and students were the learners. So the post-colonial India realized the need to revisit the original and conventional mode of learning through experiences. The education system has not undergone a major paradigm shift since the British invaded India. Rote memorization and textual learning remain in the system now, large measure to even today. Now, education policy has stressed on the value-based curriculum and skill-based learning. The aim of education has shifted from content-based learning to competency-based learning with increased significance and trust in education for acquiring 21st century skill. Therefore, the nation-based and knowledge-based education is very much needful, and in this regard, we must trust on potentialities and educative value of folklore to our national education policy, because the folklore has the innate ability to keep the learners enthralled and ensure active involvement and reflection of learners, giving opportunities for developing language and other skill. Exposure to folklore can also bring the answers for environmental, social, and gender-related issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Baruah. Round of applause. So if anybody has any question, please raise your hands and we'll get the mic to you. Meanwhile, I was wondering if, do you have any examples of mathematics being taught via folklore?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Actually, folklore is the vast discipline now. It is
Can you go to near the mic? Yeah.
it is recognized as folkloristics as discipline, academically recognized discipline. It is folklore, but it is my observation now. It is done in the university level also. In our Assam, Guwahati University, there is MPhil and PhD. Tezpur University, there is PhD. And other universities, Nehu University, there is PhD. In South India, I know that Karnataka Janapad University is a folklore university, only one subject-based university surrounding Asia. Actually, I feel for studying the subject with traditional mood and with modern mood, actually, in our national curricula of the education policy, whereas there is a subject of major Indian language, this is provincialized language, in Assam, Assamese, Bengali, just like from school levels to higher studies levels, actually the folklore should introduced as a subject. It is my expectation and my observation also.
Sahanaji, to your question, because I'm also from that discipline, there are games and game songs which incorporate counting problems in them. As a Kannadiga, you and your sister might have played Onduge Vande Vandambe, that stone throwing game. The seed throwing game that has got all these counting problems involved in it, and there are numerous size of riddles which are actually counting based riddles, and the riddle can be solved only if mathematical skills are honed by the person. So there's and there are a big number of such genres of games, game-based songs, riddles and riddle-based songs. Some of them there are riddle stories also, story riddles also. These are all of them involve mathematical games like Sudoku also. Actually, some of these songs have Sudoku involved in them. But all that actually a different topic for a different day altogether. She might have examples from Assamese also for such games and songs.
Yeah, there are so many folk game songs, and others also amongst the learners, among the children, there is also riddles. Riddles. Riddles is the test of intelligence. In our Assamese, riddles, habit kahe ulai nahe. The axe. Axe is used for cutting the timber. It is done in the forest. Then one children ask another, habit kahe ulai nahe. What is this? This is axe. That is kuthar. In Assamese, kuthar. Habit kahe ulai nahe. In this way, another point I have to relate it with the for question. Actually, I think in our educational system, in pre-primary, there is use by our children rhymes. No, it is English rhymes. English rhymes is there is similarities word by word. It is math learning very easy. Then tinkle tinkle little star. Jack and Jill, Hill. These are very easy to memorize. They children learn it easily, but it has no actual knowledge. In our Assamese also, in your native languages also, there are so many rhymes amongst the children we can use. In our Assamese, there is a rhymes Junbai. When in the summer season we sit down in the veranda, then we say our children, Junbai eti tora dia. Junbai, give me a little star. Then Junbai replied, Junbai eti tora dia. Then the mother added another stanza, eti tora nalage duti tora dia. Then give me one star will not provided to my child. He is not take it duti tora dia. Junbai replied, Pat nai sut nai kihot koi dim. Moi tora diboloi tumar logot ki ase. Junbai eti tora dia, eti tora nalage duti tora dia, pat nai sut nai kihot eti tora dia. Sorry, I forget. Junbai eti tora nalage duti tora dia, pat nai sut nai kihot koi dim. It is some stanza in this way. Then there is a learning. Junbai told her that, Tumi torare ki koriyo, muna eta dia. in which we say, enter the star, I can give you. Muna ata dia. The muna no keloi. The bag, why is it bag? So that says that muna no keloi dhon bharaboloi. We enter the money. Dhon no keloi hati kiniboloi. We can bring an elephant by this money. In this way, we can learn in the children what is the use of money, what is the relation with others, realms. Realms is also main thing. The word knowledge I mentioned here, the word knowledge is in the foundation of the children. Word knowledge is very important. So it is we can change, but it will take time. If we propose to the government for changing the curricula slowly, defining different aspects also, I expect it. Okay.
Thank you very much. Round of applause. Yeah.
Ma'am, I just have a slide here.
Oh, you have a question.
Bijoya ji, here.
Yeah.
Hi. Namaste. Wonderful topic and something I'm really close to. In fact, this reminds me of this whole hero's journey and how actually stories are, the essential things that connect everybody. It's like, the one human thing that connects all societies. So National Book Trust actually has a bunch of, folk tales from different parts of the country. And as I hear you speak, I'm thinking something like that actually gets us connected to, like, for example, Assamese. For a Tamil kid, for my child, for example, it would be completely alien. She'd probably identify more with a British kid. Unfortunately, I'm very sad to admit this, but that's the truth. She reads Enid Blyton and, she loves Famous Five, and she identifies with going on picnics on English green valleys with lemonade and ginger ale and all that. But she doesn't imagine an Assamese child who's closer to her ethnically, culturally, singing something like, what you just did. It was beautiful. So I know there is no question here, but I think the effort should be to not just use folklore for that particular region, but also within the cultural space, learn each other's folklore. Some effort I think National Book Trust is making, and bunch of translations are available, but I guess more should be done. I think the only challenge is if it is layered, if you're using it for pedagogy, it's essentially layered, and it's up to the learner to sort of, the penny drops when. So like Nagraji was mentioning, how do you standardize something like that and sort of evaluate a common standard of learning? It's up to each person's understanding. So how would we tackle that? That's probably a, question. But I mean, you don't have to answer it right now, but that's a general question to the field, basically.
Thank you. Actually, folklore and folk life, it is changeable. It is not static. In our traditional life, past traditional life is not aligning with modern traditional life. Modernity has come. Time will come. Time will bring change. But we always try to save our own existing. We stand on the land. If we forget where is my feet on the land or not, we fly with the globalization, wave of globalization. That is the result is not good. So it is a very sensitive question and sensitive challenge for the nation. With combining in the time and with the contemporary society, we passed our life thinking our own tradition, how I can get alive with our tradition, and we don't forget it. We have a very rich tradition with knowledge and religions and others. Indian tradition is the first and very rich tradition of the world. Not only in knowledge also, there are so many. But other country, there is darkness, then in India the sun arises. It is Jyoti Hasta. So I think we Actually, we improve our life with all alignment within that time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Baruah. Once again, a round of applause for her. Very interesting topic, and I think anything can be taught through folklore. I asked you about math, but now when I think about it, anything can be taught through folklore. Science, accounting, finance, anything. It's up to the teacher's creativity. Okay. Okay, no problem.